All right. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everybody. It's been a while. Welcome to another episode of TnT Knows It All Sports. It's your host Ty, and along with my man over there.
What's going on, everybody? It's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah,
I was in India for work for 2 weeks. Didn't want to do a show there because it's just the hours you have to work, and then the holidays come up. But we're ready to do it. A lot of exciting stuff.
yeah,
Just life, People in the media industry take the summer off. We just kind of took the opposite season off. So,
yeah. No, we missed you guys. Glad to be back. So life happens. Missed a good amount of football. Missed some of the beginning of the NBA. But we had decided to make sure that we give you guys an update of all the information and kind of give you a recap. So, welcome. Thank you guys for still listening to us. We still appreciate it. We love doing this stuff, and we're here to drop some knowledge for you guys, as what we
yeah,
like to say. So,
yeah.
so this episode today is a little bit different than norm. We had been doing weeks, but since we kind of skipped a few weeks, we figured let's just kind of go and do like a recap of a bunch of things. One, we're going to talk about, some of our picks to date, which is really up through week 8. And so you can see where we've been, which we've actually done pretty decent, I think, from a picks perspective. Tom is definitely better than me. And then also we figured, since it's been some time, we feel like let's reflect on the past.
Yeah.
We like to drop some information. We don't mind making bold predictions, like we did in the beginning of the year. And so we're gonna go back and take a look at some of our predictions and see how they're looking so far. Now it's not over, but how good we were or how far off we were, which definitely there was a couple that we were both far off of.
Yeah, a couple
And then
stinkers.
yeah. And then we'll talk about and then after that we'll just kind of talk about, what's been happening, today, like any big things, some things that's going on with our teams, um, things going on in the league that we want to discuss that's been up to date since we didn't get to talk throughout the week. And then what are some of the things we think we're to look forward to in the next 5 weeks as we are going into week 14 of the schedule. And
Yeah.
that'll be this episode. So anything you want to add, Thomas, before we get into this?
No, I don't have a Bills hat on, and I'll tell you why later. But yeah, we did miss the NFL trade season, right? Did we talk? I don't think we talked about that. There were some
Yeah, we
interesting trades. We could talk when we talk about teams and stuff. We could talk about that.
yeah, we did miss
Um,
the trade deadline.
I mean,
Some people
San
made
Fran
moves and
keeps,
some people didn't make moves, which I'm
yeah,
still mad at.
San Fran robbing people, but yeah, once again, but yeah,
You know,
2 off seasons in a row. But
yeah. But yeah, so all right, so let's let me share my screen here for the viewers and yourself.
I,
And
I
um
did call Denver beating the Chiefs, but
yeah, it's true. I know it's so long ago. And I feel like we were going through this, everybody, and I was like, man, Thomas, I was like, this week 8 was our best week, and we didn't even get to talk about it the next week,
right,
where
right.
you picked Denver over Kansas City, called it, which was crazy. I was with you. I actually called it with the spread, but I was like, but Kansas City will figure out a way to win, which they did not. So you deserve props for that. And the biggest part to me of that week 8 was the only win. We both called Carolina beating Houston. You know how bold that
Right.
is? Carolina's not going to win another game probably the rest of the year.
Right, right,
And
right.
we both called that game as their win. So I feel like, that week 8 was a special, special week for us in terms of that's. But year to date, man, even though we haven't done, these picks, but man, times you're 61 and 26, man, that's pretty good, man. I gotta lie.
I know a little bit about football. That's right. I've been trying to tell these chat rooms,
Yeah.
just a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
So,
And spread, man, like, we're pretty close in the spread. Like, I somehow I'm like, all right, I think this team will be close, and then I've been going like, nah, they're gonna win, when
Right.
really, they're probably not gonna win.
I I spent a lot of time in Vegas. I hate the spread. You got
Yeah,
people kicking field goals or sliding
yeah,
before they get to the end zone. You just
mm,
messing the game, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's true. But yeah, so that's our picks to date. I think we've done good. We'll start to try to get back into that, in the next couple of weeks. But thought that was fun doing some game picks. But we won't really do any picks for this week since we are doing a full recap. And so as we look at a recap, since we're doing predictions, we try to do weekly predictions. Wanted to go back and look at our preseason picks. So like
Right.
we wanted to not just be out here and saying, "Hey, this is, what we think." We put our names behind some of this stuff. So let's go take a look and see how some of these picks were for us. And so let's see. You got that? Can you
Yeah,
see
yeah,
all
see
of
it.
these picks?
Yeah. Well,
All right.
yeah. You want to do the full screen
Yeah, I
or
thought I was doing the full.
oh,
Sorry.
that's all good.
So
Well, I mean, you got,
is it full?
yeah, well, just, just do a slideshow, that one right there.
Yeah, no, it's not allowing me to.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
it's been a while, guys. We even forgot how to
Yeah, no,
use
I know. I
the,
used it and
like,
then it just
yeah, just
didn't.
all, you can leave it like this. It's fine.
All right. Um, so basically what happened is I thought that the picks were gonna be San Francisco winning the division, Dallas, um, Detroit, and the
The
Saints.
Aints,
The Aints.
yeah.
So Saints still have a chance. They're like a game back, but
That division
they
is so trash,
yeah,
but
it
go
is
ahead.
trash. I mean, the Saints are 5-7, Atlanta's 6-6, Tampa's 5-7, and we just talked about Carolina, how they're just terrible. I mean, so there's a chance for that one.
Right,
Um, the other two, I mean, San Fran and Lions looking strong. Dallas, you know, as we were just talking about it, man, that Arizona game is going to come back to haunt them possibly, I think, at the end. They might end up being like a game back of Philly.
right,
Um, but hey, you never know. We got our chance against Philly this week for the second time. Like how we've been playing. But like I said from the beginning of the year, there's only three games I care about. And unfortunately, we're 0-2 in the first two, which I actually didn't care about winning. I just wanted to see how we looked.
hmm
The San Fran game's still disturbing. But I do feel confident. This of all the three games, this is one I feel confident in, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. My my wild card teams though, um was Philly because they said they didn't win the division. I felt like Philly was going to make it, which clearly Dallas or Philly, take your pick. The Seahawks, who was looking pretty strong for a while, now not so much. They're 6-6. They got to play San Fran this week. Um, it's looking a little shaky. And the
hmm
Vikings, who were also looking pretty decent. I mean, they were looking terrible to start the year. Then they were like, oh, they're definitely making the playoffs, and they just lost to the Bears. So
right.
who knows? They're in right now, but again, they're 6-6. So all these wild card teams are looking shaky for the NFC. Yours, on the other hand, we had similar teams, except for you had Philly winning, which looking a lot smarter since Philly has the best record in the league. They're very lucky, in my opinion. Um, Had a lot of games they should not have won. But hey,
Especially
you
that
know what?
Buffalo.
Oh, I know,
Jesus.
man. Jeez, that's just still.
59-yard field goal in the monsoon, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah, I know. It's insane. I'm telling you, I've said this. Nick Sirianni has had he has made a deal with the devil, the football gods. I really feel like that because I watch this team. I'm like a smoke and mirrors, and they figure out ways to win.
And their other
Um,
loss is the Jets, but that's,
yeah, I
I mean,
know.
that's,
Yeah, I know. Which by the way, you know. we can talk about the media too on that because that kind of annoys me, how they like to flip things. Um, but your wild card teams, yeah, Dallas, of course. I mean, we all knew who we knew who the top three teams are, and they are the top three teams in NFC. It's Dallas, San Fran, and for
Philly.
the Philly. And of course the Lions are right there as well. But then, you had the Giants, which woof,
Yeah, and I didn't know Danny Jones was gonna get sacked that much. I mean, I
yeah,
knew, but my God, but yeah,
yeah, it's pretty bad. And then the Vikings. So now the crazy thing is though, the Giants are still in it technically. I mean, they're four and I mean they're only two games back.
yeah.
So I
But
mean,
Danny
they got
DeVito, come on, bro. I mean, he actually, to be honest, he don't look that bad the last two
yeah,
games.
Tommy looks all right. If they
Oh, yeah, Tommy. Did I call him Danny?
yeah, I mean, hey,
Tommy.
he's one of those guys. Hey, hey,
Yeah, yeah.
hey.
From Syracuse. He went to
He
Syracuse.
is. I do like him. I like that celebration right there. We do this. That is
The
hilarious. I love it. I love it actually.
but
Um,
yeah,
but yeah, they played the Packers this week. They beat the Packers. Now you're game back. So I mean,
yeah,
is that quick? But yeah, I don't think they're gonna make it.
that's I mean that's crazy. But go
Yeah, I
ahead.
know. It is crazy. It is crazy. All right, and then so the next is our AFC division winners. So three of those look pretty dang good. You know,
Hmm.
I thought the Ravens were gonna win. Jags, who man, they suffered a tough loss this week because I was looking forward to coming into this show and saying what I said then, and they still have a chance, but I was feeling really good about it. I thought the Jags were going to have, remember I said I thought they were going to have home field advantage. And not because I thought they were the greatest team, is because their division. And you see it, they're 8-4. They were nine,
Hmm.
should have been 9-3. Like the division is not the greatest. They're playing better, but then also their NFC teams was the NFC South. And we knew
Yeah,
that they were not going to be good. So
the,
that's another
the
reason why
division
AFC
got
South.
three playoff teams right now, bro.
Because they are all playing the NFC South. So
True.
you see what I'm saying? You gotta like it's weird when you start to think about those teams. Like you always look at who they play, and so
Yeah, I
that's
do.
why.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
thought and you'll see my wild card team why I got wrong. I thought that there would be two teams for the AFC South, and I remember saying that because of their schedule. I was like, their schedule is gonna allow for them to get in more than like AFC North teams or East teams because they have a tougher schedule. They're
Yeah,
just gonna
yeah,
knock them down. Um, Now my wild card teams were oof, not looking
yeah.
too great. Um, the
Yeah,
Chargers, not even in contention really, and the Titans. I mean, I don't even know who their quarterback is. So like again, my
the,
Titans thought was AFC
Car-
South. I thought they'd be able to run the ball, play tough. Man, they've not looked. It's
no,
weird. They've not looked. It's not like they're getting killed. They just can't win. Like this Colts game, they had the game one. They figured out ways. Two punts blocked, missing an extra point. They make the extra point.
mm,
They win. Like all these weird games.
yeah.
You know.
The same thing with the Chargers. I mean,
Yeah. Yep. We knew that
should
we
have
didn't trust them. We talked about it. We said don't trust them, and we still did. We was like, and I even said I don't like this,
what
but
and what a bust at the second wide receiver picked in the draft was Johnson,
yeah, Quinn Johnson.
Quinn Johnson, and he's like, I mean, wow, does
But
not look good.
what I will tell you, by the way, and as you know, we look at your division winners. I did say that Boy Wonder from the Chargers was going to show everybody who he really was. The nicest offensive coordinator. Why did Dallas get rid of him? Look what he's going to do for the Chargers. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and then Dak is having his best year of his career.
I'm
And he scored 6 points against the Patriots. But I
Yes,
mean,
exactly. I said that. I said when Kellen Moore plays anybody that knows how to coaches against anyone that knows how to play defense, they will go from being 34 points to like you can't score a touchdown. Remember, I was like, it's extreme, like none. And you know why? And I was watching it because I actually was like, I'm gonna I should get over it, but these are years of like chances that we had to win that we couldn't
Right.
win. And what it is with him is he just doesn't draw up the stuff for simple plays. They don't run the ball enough.
Oh,
He's
okay.
not a very creative run caller. And when they throw the ball, it's always like downfield deep throws. It's not anything like quick, like just get like 5 yards,
So he's Ken Dorsey. Got you. Okay.
basically.
Right. I mean, so,
And so, yes, you're gonna have games where they're gonna look explosive. I mean, you're like,
right.
man, this guy is
Well, I
great.
mean, they got Justin Herbert. I hope they do.
Yep, but they actually, if you look at offense now, at the beginning of the year, I heard some stupid talk about like, oh, look, it's their defense, which is true. Their defense is not that great. But now, as things start to even out, you start looking at points per game. It's actually less than it was last year.
I mean, yeah, it's there. Yeah, they don't. But they score what 4 touchdowns in the last like 3 games? It's not really
Yep,
something like that. But yeah.
yep. So, yeah. So your division was the same as mine because
Hmm.
the Bills, man. We're not talking about that, man. That was just it should be 8-4, at
Who
least,
the
at
what team?
least. Oh yeah, that's right. I guess we're not naming
I don't even know that team.
the
I
team to
don't.
be named.
The Bills. Yeah, they. I mean, 8-4. But I'll talk about them in a second. But
Yeah, but hey, you were spot on with the Dolphins. I mean, the Dolphins probably clear they're going to win the division, and then we both had the Steelers and Chargers. So and Steelers looking good. They were
yeah,
2 weeks ago. We were like, yeah, they're right in there. They just lost to the Cardinals
yeah,
and the Patriots at home.
and they let the Patriots score the most points in the first half all year,
Yes,
21.
yes.
Even though they didn't
It's
score anything in the second half, but
no,
still,
it's
yeah.
just bad.
The it, the Steelers' problem is they can't run the ball. I mean, now they're running it, but they're barely now they can run now. Najee Harris is running the ball. What is weird? They couldn't run the ball. They were winning. Now they can run the ball and they're losing. It's just
Yeah,
like I mean, it doesn't
it's
make any
bad.
damn sense.
Hey, and
And was
Mitch,
that go
man,
ahead?
said
Oh,
Mitch.
yeah, yeah.
Oof.
But also, what's up with the Steelers with all these attitude wide receivers? George Pickens out there, Tanner Hampton, Dante Johnson don't want to. Deontay Johnson doesn't want to block. Antonio Brown. You can go down to
Yeah,
what's his name? Chase Claypool.
yeah, Claypool. Yeah,
It's like Plaxico Burress.
yeah,
Is it some? Are they having too much like hot dogs with Heinz sauce, Heinz ketchup or something? What's going on over there? It is just
yeah.
weird to me. It's they got a lot of
From
problems.
Matthew Brothers.
Oh
Those
yeah, bro, yeah,
sandwiches.
yeah, yeah. Those sandwiches are good,
They
but
are pretty good. That's why I know
yeah,
about them. They're pretty good.
yeah. But the Steelers really should be. I mean, we called it, but let's be honest, they should be 5-7. I mean,
Yeah,
let's
no,
just
they
that
should.
Denver. I mean, sorry, that Browns game they won by a fumble
Oh my
recovery.
gosh,
Come
I
on,
know,
man. Like,
I know.
so,
But they have so much talent, and I think that's what it is. It's funny. Like the weird thing is they're not scoring, and I didn't think that was going to be the reason why they lost. I thought their
yeah.
defense would be middle of the pack
But
and their offense would be good, and it's actually been opposite. And their
because their
defense
offense
is
looked
good
good in
in
preseason.
preseason,
My
right?
bad.
And look at
Yeah,
the talent though. Like look,
yeah,
like I mean, their weapons. By the way, I do want to mention this. Um, Joy Taylor made some stupid comment, right? I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to call out the media when they were
yeah.
talking about the Jets and the Steelers, and she was like, "Well, you know, we're getting on Zach Taylor. How come we're not getting on Kenny Pickett? He's got um the Jets, the Steelers and Jets weapons are the same. I was like, wait, hold on a second. Time out. I was like, the Steelers weapons are way better than the Jets weapons. Like
Right,
way better, right? Because she was
right,
basically saying, like, it's like the same thing. Like, we should get on Kenny Pickett because we get on Jack Wilson. And
well,
I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We
you're
definitely
right,
should get on Kenny Pickett. I agree with that because they have good weapons, but it was clearly you could tell it's coaching. But then
right,
I'm like Zach Wilson, which we've seen when they took him out. The Jets weapons are not that good. They were
right,
overrated from the beginning of the year. That's why we didn't see them in any of
right,
Thomas's or Ty's picks
right.
to make the playoffs because we knew that this was not going to happen. And
Right.
people still arguing with me, oh, if Aaron Rodgers was here, the Jets would be, yeah, the Jets would still not be in the playoffs right now.
Right, yeah. Well,
So what
the
are we
first
talking about?
mistake you said Joy Taylor. I don't even know why
Yeah.
we even mentioned her.
It just annoys me, man, because
Yeah.
they get to be on TV every single day, and I don't know why. So
Well, yes, we know. I mean, yeah, she's lucky that her brother actually was an NFL player, but she
yeah,
said some okay things. But I mean, the Jets were terrible. But Zach Wilson is garbage too. What was just called? I
well,
mean,
he is, but he's
yeah.
better
So
than the other guys that they have, which is still not good. I'm not
yeah,
saying
yeah,
much, but they're like,
yeah,
oh, why they should be taking him out. I'm like, he's probably the best quarterback that they have, so that's why they're playing. They're not. He's not the reason why they're losing games. They're losing
yeah.
games because their whole offense is trash. It's the entire offense. They have
They
no
can't.
blocking. They cannot block
They
whatsoever.
can't run. They
They
rarely
can't
can run.
run. They because they can't block, they can't send as many people out for passes. It's
Yeah,
like it's a nightmare. And then Nathaniel Hackett has to be one of the worst offensive coordinators in the past 10 years. You have 2 years where you barely can get touchdowns. Like
yeah.
barely. I mean, this is
What he
you
was
don't deserve
terrible.
the job.
Yeah, I mean, he was a Buffalo offensive coordinator. We don't know why he was offensive coordinator. Well, I do know why. His father. I mean, his father was actually a good offensive
He
coordinator,
sure was.
but especially with the Packers. And the Seattle. But yeah, he's not good. But also, the Jets, even if they had Aaron Rodgers, I actually wish Aaron Rodgers was not hurt.
I know, me
So
too.
I can even be even more right because who is Aaron Rodgers thrown to outside of
Garrett Wilson.
Wilson? Yeah, uh,
Alan
they
Lazard,
can't
said
run.
he can't get open because you watch it. It's like film.
Yeah,
You watch the film. Do you see Alan Lazard get open now? Does it matter who's the quarterback? No, he's not getting. He's
yeah.
not even. He has been
Inactive, yeah,
healthy and
healthy,
active for the last few weeks.
healthy scratch. Yeah, yeah. And Delvin Cook, I forgot he was in the league until he fumbled the ball that one game when I saw him. So.
Yep, yep.
But we're spending too much time on the sorry ass Jets.
It's
But yeah,
okay.
I guess.
It's part of the recap. This is
Yeah,
all,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
No, I
talking
got
about
you.
the beginning of the season. So you're right. Yes, we shouldn't spend time in the Jets, but I just all those people that thought the Jets were going to make the playoffs and they were Super Bowl contenders. I'm
But
like, you
yeah,
guys should be fired actually from your job. Fired.
but,
Fired. And not just saying like, I mean, even though I might have said the Titans, at least there's a reason behind it. The Jets, come on now. Like
hmm
this is stop.
right, right,
People still think that still. And you know what? Just run it back next year. I hope so. Just run it back. See how they
right,
do next year. See how that goes. Run it back.
right.
Yeah. Anyways, so anyway, that was our pick. So we're gonna just have a year-to-date discussion. So let's talk about what's been going on, in the season
I,
up to now. Do you want to go
I mean,
first?
I was like, surprised that it surprised everybody. I know they're going to be decent, but surprise would be the Texans.
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean, CJ Stroud looking like, I mean, we talked about he was going to be good, but
Yep.
I'll be honest, I did not know he's going to be that good.
Yep.
But I'm going to speak about this in 1 second, why he is good. Um, just in a second, because I want to talk about another surprise team.
Hmm.
And we weren't really, I want to say we weren't surprised, but, we did say the Lions, watch out for the Lions. So that was our sleeper pick.
Yep.
I know the media talked about it, but a lot of people were doubting them. But so they're looking good.
Yep.
And I'm still not going to give the Dolphins any love because they haven't beat anybody. I'm sorry. I mean, but I will say they've beaten teams that they should be, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
unlike my team, but the team I support, but so they look good. But for the Texans, I mean Tank, he got hurt. It sucks. But
Yeah. It
Tank Dell
sucks.
was about to have 1,000 yards a season. Nico Collins, that
Hmm.
Michigan guy. People probably didn't even know who he was, Michigan,
Yep.
but it's coaching. All right. D'Amico Ryan's got the team. He was cutting veterans. If people remember, he cutted Desmond King, who was their starting slot cornerback. And people are like, what are you doing? And Christian, I forgot the guy's name, the middle linebacker, but whatever his name was. So they were cutting them because I'm in Houston. And they're like, why are you cutting all these veteran players starters? He just changed the culture.
Yep.
Kind of had you had the win attitude comes from that
Hmm.
he comes from Alabama where they were winning. He comes
Yeah,
from San Fran, they were winning, right?
right.
You've seen that with Mike McDaniel. I don't know what happened to Robert Saleh, but at least Mike McDaniel and D'Amico Ryan kind of bring that
Hmm.
swag and everything else like that. Different styles, right? So
Hmm.
they're winning. But I mean, we'll see how they do the rest of the season because they have the tough schedule. That meant the Colts too, right? That's another surprise
Yeah,
team with
yeah,
the Colts. Zach
yes.
Moss. I mean, but Shane Steichen. I think we talked about this in one. Maybe we talked about candidates, but I like Shane Steichen as
Hmm.
a coach. I mean, look what's happened with Philly offense since he left,
Yeah,
right? I
that's
mean,
true. That's
so
true.
those are really the surprise. I mean, there's nothing really else that surprises me.
Yeah, it's interesting, Thomas, that you bring those up. I was actually looking at, since we're looking at history, we had a slide, we had a thing of teams that we thought were in rebuild mode. Those teams, I'm just gonna name the teams that we said. It was the Colts, the Texans, the Rams.
Right,
So all three of those teams are 6-6 or better, and are fighting for a playoff spot. And then we also had the Panthers, which we clearly were correct on, and then the Bucks. And we said was weird. Like we talked about the Bucks, and we're like, well, it's kind of a weird season. We're saying rebuild, but we don't really know. Um, they're not going to win, but they have talent still, so they're gonna like compete against people. Like they'll finish
right.
like 6 or 7 and 10 or something, which is kind of where they're at, 5-7. So it's interesting. I mean, I agree with you about the Texans. I actually said before the season, I thought the Texans were going to be better than people thought. I thought every single game they're going to play was going to be tough because you could just tell like their defense was going to be really, really, really good. It depended on their offense. And the fact that their offense has gotten the play that they're getting from CJ Stroud, who, we loved. Um, that's why they're where they're at. And
Yeah,
I do like them. And I hope they do well. I'm hoping they can somehow squeeze in there. I think it would be a good experience for them. And
right.
next year they're going to be a problem. Like forget it. Next year's the league's
Yeah.
going to
Oh
have to
yeah, and they
worry
got
about it.
money too.
Yep. So it'll be good. Um, yeah. So for me, um, I guess my surprise, well, not surprise. I mean, there's just some things I guess I'd like to share. And it's weird, how things just happen in the season, and you kind of like you said, it's like the Jacks had the injury early, but I also think they're just poorly managed. But another team that we actually said it was Super Bowl contender just because I feel like we felt like they were a Super Bowl contender based on who their quarterback was, but we both didn't think they were going to make the playoffs, which is funny. We said Super Bowl contender, but then we didn't put them in the playoffs, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals. The moves that they made in the offseason, I think, hurt them. Like it's
Right.
cool to keep trying to rebuild boost up your offense, but you can't let defensive players go. Look at Bates over there in Atlanta. He gets an interception every game, it seems like. I mean, just making
And Von
plays.
Bell
Yep.
actually, so yeah,
Yeah, like you can't let go of guys that are helping you win. They were winning. I mean, yes, Joe Burrow gets credit because he's quarterback. Don't get me wrong, he's a great player. But they were winning those games because they were holding teams like the Bills down and the Chiefs down. Like making it hard for them to score.
yeah,
So that means they could score 20 points or
right,
23 points and go to the Super Bowl, right? Like
right.
not
Well,
not 35.
right. Unfortunately, the Bengals will get an asterisk because Joe Burrow is hurt.
I
So
know.
I mean, that's why I didn't want to bring him up because the
They
asterisk,
weren't
Golden
before he got
Boys.
hurt, they weren't in the playoff race though.
Yeah,
Just saying.
they're 5-5. They lost to the Texans. Yeah, so yeah,
Yeah, with him, right. They
yeah,
lost with him at home.
yeah.
So
And the
anyway,
Ravens technically, and they got
yeah.
hurt. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So I mean, I did want to bring them up. And then I was gonna say the Bills for you. But yeah, a little the Chargers.
Nah, I'm not surprised by the
They
Chargers.
they need. I mean, what are they doing with Staley? Like seriously, I think I need to figure out if they have he has pictures of the owner or something like this because there's no reason why this guy should have a job anymore.
You should have had a job last year. I mean,
Clearly, right?
we're gonna hear it, but
Yes, we agree. So it's like you know what they're like mistakes and things happen. Let's say that's what they were thinking. Mistakes and things happen. Let's let them have it. But after the first like 6 games, like it's got to be like, come on, man.
I
Like,
think
what are you
yeah,
doing?
he's not gonna get fired. You know, they're not gonna fire him now. They'll probably fire him at the end of the year. But yeah,
Yeah. Yep, we'll get fired in a year. And
I mean, his J.C. Jackson trade. I mean, I don't know if he was part of it, but
yeah,
it didn't look good on the moves he made. But I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I was gonna say the Bills, but I'm just I'll talk about
yeah.
it in a minute. But it's just
And the other team is the Broncos. So
you surprised with the Broncos?
no, I mean, not surprised. Just I want to discuss them.
Oh,
I think that's why, coaching does matter, and they were getting roasted early. I just remember. I mean, they lost
oh yeah,
70,
yeah, yeah.
70-21. So it was like, oh, they're the
Shit,
biggest
Justin
joke.
Fields looked like
Yeah, no, right. You're
so,
like, oh, Justin Fields, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. It was like, what the heck's
or
going on? But
Miami, yeah,
but this is what good coaches do, and this is why I'm not saying Sean Payton is the best coach of all time, but he seriously is a coach.
right,
Like
right,
he's actually an actual coach. He's like, all right, I'm trying to do this. This ain't working. So let me understand what my personnel and my team needs to actually be able to be successful.
right, right.
That's coaching. Like these
Facts.
coaches that
Then
stick with like, oh, this is my philosophy and this is the way we do it. And I don't care if what the scenario tells me to do, i.e., somebody in Orchard Park, right? Like, yo, adjust. It is okay to adjust. If you keep doing the same thing over and over again, and it don't work, that means there's something
right.
wrong with you. So I give props to Champagne. They might not make the playoffs, but the fact that they're even in the discussion, and Russ looking like a good, like he doesn't look like a great quarterback, but he looks like a competent quarterback, and they're not
I mean,
asking him to throw. Yeah,
the numbers look. I mean, the numbers don't look that bad.
yeah,
Last week they should. I mean, last week kind of blew it, but yeah,
yeah,
he had 3 picks.
yeah. And one other team is the Commanders. It's time for Butson in. It's time for
Oh, Ron Rivera.
yeah, he gotta go, man. Like,
But Airbnb look. I mean, it doesn't look that bad, but yeah.
Here's the thing. I will say this, okay? So Ron Rivera's got to go, and I was thinking, yeah, give Eric Bieniemy a shot, and I do think he deserves a shot. But I'm telling you, watching Washington's offense makes me almost feel like they try to sabotage this team. I never seen they don't even attempt to run the ball, man. Like they throw the ball 45 times a game, and they got two good running backs, and their offensive line is not terrible. Their offensive line is terrible at pass blocking. So I'm
Oh,
like,
I
yo,
know
why
they
don't
have the
you run
same
the ball?
same out as 60 ways, sacked 58 times. I have
Yes,
him for fantasy. It's wild.
it's wild, right? I was like, yo,
Yeah,
so I mean, that's Eric Bieniemy. I mean, I assume he's doing offense now. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Sam Howell looks good. He's leading the league in passing yards,
not
but
anymore. But
yeah, yeah, no, because
CJ Stroud.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, no, it's because they was on a bye.
right, right.
Um, but yeah, like, so he gotta go, man. Like, and I don't care about the Commanders normally, but I do feel a little bit of pain, in the DC area. I mean, they try. They're good fans. They don't deserve what they're
Well,
seeing.
yeah,
They don't deserve what they're seeing.
they got new ownership, so they're
Yeah,
probably
so
gonna clean up.
got to go,
Yeah.
got to go.
Oh, he's done. I mean that
Yeah,
him and Staley are getting fired. I mean that's guarantees,
yeah,
guarantees.
yeah. I would assume so.
Frank Reich got fired already. I mean that was but yeah.
They fired Ron Rivera fired Jack Del Rio and then proceeded to give up 40 some points the next
Oh yeah,
week.
The Miami, yeah, yeah.
And not even just 40 points. You gonna go one on one with Tyreek Hill? Like, come on now. Like, how dumb are you? Single coverage for Tyreek Hill when you already can't cover people normally? Like, it just, oh well. I was like, hey, that was a good firing.
Hmm.
That's just bad. Even Tyreek Hill at his press conference said, "I'd like to thank Washington for the defense." I couldn't
I
believe it.
know.
I was like, he's like, I don't know what they were doing, but I appreciate it. I
White
was
boy was wide open, but two are so great. I mean, I could throw those damn passes,
I
but that's
know,
another
man.
thing.
He basically punted the ball to him, like he
Right
didn't throw
now.
it. But yeah. All right. So anyway, that's some discussion, but figured we also have an agenda like what we see in the future, but also wanted to give some chance to talk of save some time to talk about our teams. I know we don't really want to talk about it, but um, you go ahead. You want
No,
me to go
you
first?
got, yeah,
All
because
right.
mine is gonna be 3 minutes, but
Oh, okay, so it's a little long.
yeah.
So mine is not gonna be that long. So here's I mean, as I mentioned this earlier. So Dallas is 9-3. Um, Probably should be 10-2. Probably should be 11-1, really, to be, I mean, being real. I don't care if we lose the rest of the games of the year, or I don't care if we win the rest of the games of the year, like I said all year. This week is very important for me because I need to make sure to see what kind of team this is. And I don't even if like if Dallas loses the game, just like the other two games, I just want to see how they play in this game. Will they be disciplined? Because that's their problem. Will they make the plays that need to be made, or like like the Philly first game? We outplayed them, which I called. I knew that was going to happen, and I knew we would lose. I was like, we're going to
Mm,
outplay them, and we're going to lose. We'll find a way to not win the game in Philadelphia. This week, I think we're going to win. But I still, even if we win, it's still the way they play that's going to let me know if we're really, really contenders, because I don't think so still.
mm.
And it's not me being like, the fan. I'm a realist. I don't think we're contenders. I don't think we're on San Francisco's level. That's the team. I've said it for 4 years. Not Philadelphia, because Philadelphia is who they are to me. People are
Right.
starting to see it now. They're Dallas and Philadelphia are the same team. They're the exact
Yeah.
same team. Just Philadelphia just happens to figure out ways to win. Dallas has figured out a way to lose one more game. Just one more game. When really Philly should have lost to the Commanders the one time, but that's fine. So I'm fine with how they're playing. Dak, I will say this is, I've been killing Dak. Best Dak has looked since I've seen him. And the main reason why he's looking this good is that, they're like, he's got all the turnovers. I never thought Dak was a turnover prone person. Dak is just very inaccurate.
Right.
And so what happens is he has bad feet. And I said this before, his feet aren't good in the pocket, then his balls go awry. And it doesn't mean it's going to be picked, but it doesn't mean it's going to be caught. And so that's why
Right.
we don't make plays when we don't need to. The reason why Dak is doing well is he's finally using his legs. And it doesn't mean he has to run all the time, but he has. But he needs to move outside the pocket and like actually roll out and make passes, because that's actually Dak's history. Like Dak was a mobile quarterback in college. Like he wasn't no stand in the pocket guy. He was a read option QB. So now all of a sudden he wants to stand in the pocket like he's Tom Brady. You ain't Tom Brady, man. Like that's not your strength, because you don't have
Right.
good feet. So, but he can make the throws when he rolls out all day. Dak will make those throws all day. And so as long as he continues to do that, this is going to be the best version of Dak. Doesn't mean we're going to win the Super Bowl, but this is the best version of Dak that the Cowboys are going to get. So I hope he continues. And I hope nobody in the media starts talking about how, Dak
Yeah.
with his legs, he's such a runner. I don't want anybody to talk about it, because then he start getting his head and then he start getting back to the other side. And I don't need him. I needed to keep running, moving his feet. The San Francisco game was the best game that had happened to him. Um, One last thing is about Dallas's defense. So a couple things. One, I love Michael Parsons. I think he's a good player. He needs to show up in these big games, because I'm telling
Right.
you, that dude did a lot of talking, and I watch a lot of these games. In these big moments, he's not very where to be found. Okay. Like I need him to show up in the big game and be disciplined. That's the main thing with him. He's like, man, I gotta make this play. And sometimes he gets out of place, and then he gets lost. And so
Right.
people actually take advantage of the good teams take advantage of him. And I need him to not do that. So that's one. And then two, Deron Bland. What Deron Bland is doing, he has 5 interceptions, 4 touchdowns this season. Unbelievable. Like,
Right. Right.
oh, people are like defensive player of the year. We've never seen it. Literally, I'm not making this. We've never seen it in history of NFL. I'm gonna tell you this, and I was telling
Hey,
everybody that wants to talk. Deron Bland is an average two
right.
corner in the NFL. Average. And you might think I'm crazy for saying that, but He's average, maybe slightly above average two. He's not a one.
Yeah.
He's not even an elite two. He's an average, slightly above, slightly above. And the reason why it's slightly above is because he can make the catches. If you watch these games, this dude is getting roasted every game. I'm watching Dallas. Deron Bland is giving up at least 6 catches to 7 catches a game. I'm not even exaggerating. You see that Seattle game?
I watched the game. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that was just one, but I was watching Adam Thielen, freaking what's his name from the Jahan Dotson. I didn't even know he was still playing football for Washington, and that guy was killing him over Thanksgiving. Like it is constant. He's getting beat out there. Now he makes plays, but he is going to be the reason why we might not win. So it's like weird. Like it's a gift and a curse because he jumps these routes, and so if he gets it, great. If he doesn't, it's a long bomb like it was against
Right.
DK Metcalf. So all that being said, I'm happy my team is relevant, but does my thoughts from them from the beginning of the year where I thought they were a Super Bowl contender, but once they lost Diggs, I said we were going to still be good, which we are, and that is pretty much. I know my team very, 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 very well, and they are good, 9-3. I said we're still going to be one of the top teams, but do you think we're going to win? The answer is no, we're not going to win. So that is what my recap of the Cowboys are. I'm happy. I'm loving the way they're playing. They're winning games. They got to win this week just because I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to watch them the rest of the year if they don't. Even I will because I'm actually going to the Bills Cowboys game next week in Buffalo. So um, that's all I got to say for my boys.
Yeah, I mean, they look good. I mean, well, that's good. I would love to go to the game, but I don't even want to go to a Bills game. I barely watch their games. I mean, I watch their games, but they piss me off. So I'm gonna keep this short because I was thinking about like, what should I do? Everyone's like, oh, T's gonna go off. Not really. Just watch the tape. We did how many episodes we've done? Okay, so
Yeah,
let
no.
me go some recap because once I think the Bills should call me to be the GM. Brandon Beane should go. Number one, uh, I said last year,
Mm-hmm.
in God's name, or did you hire Ken Dorsey? No, no one really hires a rookie
Yeah,
offensive coordinator that's never called plays, right? People were talking about, well, my friend and I had a conversation. Well, what about Josh McDaniel? Because I was like, let's go. I went through the history. Josh McDaniel, but he had Charlie Weiss and he has Tom Brady in the system. He literally got plug and play into the system. He
right.
basically got, here you go. Here's the handbook. Charlie Weiss went to Notre Dame to be the head coach, and he handed the keys to well, Josh McDaniels and whatever it was, right? So
Bill O'Brien, yeah.
I'm sorry, Bill O'Brien, then Josh McDaniels.
Yep.
They passed it along, right? So
Mm-hmm.
let's take the Patriots out. Other than that, no one really hires rookie OCs. So last year, I don't want to talk about history before.
Yeah.
Well, this year they're going to say, oh, well, Ken Dorsey's going to put his own wrinkles in. They're going to do a 12 personnel and everything. So let's move back to the draft. Brandon Beane really pisses me off. The year before that, you traded up for Kyrie Elam,
Yeah.
that you press corner
Mm-hmm.
that you play zone for. That's obviously looking not good.
Yep.
Okay, so let's move away from that. All right, could have used that pick for Christian McCaffrey, but I'll go again.
Yeah.
Then you go in the first round, you Dalton Kincaid, that's cool, but you sit on your pick when you saw all these receivers available and they started coming off the draft like Zay Flowers, Jody
Jordan Addison.
Addison.
Yep.
So why did you trade up? Okay, you got Dalton Kincaid. I'm happy with it. But the point is, you never got number two. You spent $6 million a year, or I think it was 8 million 2 years, for a player named Deontay Hardy who has 3 catches, right? Jacoby Myers could have been available. I think I talked about Jacoby Myers in one of the previews.
Mm-hmm.
All these guys, you need a number two. The reason I'm saying that, Brandon Beane, calling you out, is that Buffalo is 6-6. So there's a guy named Gabe, I can't run a fucking route Davis, who's slower than hell, right? So everyone's like, oh, Josh Allen's turnovers, everything. Here's a stat. The last 4 games, that majority, 60% of his interceptions were to Gabe Davis.
Mm-hmm.
60%. One of them, he didn't run the route. He didn't even try to jump the
Right.
ball.
Yep.
Another one was, I will take that away, was at the end of the half against the Jets.
Denver.
and then one Denver, it literally hit his hands and he didn't want to do it, right? So, Gabe Davis problem. Josh Allen, everyone talks. Josh Allen took it and said, I was the one that threw the wrong ball, but I don't know. I've been watching football for a long time. If you're running an option route, all on blitz, first of all, as a wide receiver, you look and say, okay, shoot, I see the all on blitz coming, right? If I get a man deep,
You
I'm
turn your
going
head.
to turn ahead and go to the middle.
Yeah.
My man turned around like a punt. He's like, what? He didn't, what are we doing here? What like he turned his whole body around. I've never seen a wide
Right.
receiver turn his whole body around, which makes no sense because you turn your whole body around, then you get a chance to defender to knock the ball out, right? So
Right.
if the ball, to me, if the ball is going to go over your shoulder, shouldn't you turn like this so the ball goes like this,
Yeah.
not your whole body like he kept in a goddamn punt? Okay,
Yeah.
so it looks like miscommunication. It continued miscommunication.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is this: Buffalo didn't do the things they were supposed to. I'm not surprised. Actually, they should be 8-4. We could say 8-4, but I'm just not surprised, right? So the defense held. Everyone's like, well, here's another stat. A lot of people's like, what about the defense been hurt? Well, guys, they have 5 games to lead with less than 2 minutes
Yeah.
left. I mean,
Right.
so I mean, they have 5 games left, and they're 1-4 in those games. Okay, 1-4 in the games where the defense had to had to stop them. Right, so
Yeah.
you can blame them and say, that the defense. I'm sorry, the offense turned it over and they could have got more points, but the offense gave the ball to the defense instead
With
of
the
just
lead. Yeah.
with the lead, let's lock it in, right? So they're 1-4 in games with less than 2 minutes when the defense has to play. And what's the excuse of the Jets? I'll just go back. They had their whole full defense. Josh Allen played like crap, but it's not about Josh Allen. It's about you got a chance to win the game.
Hmm.
So there's like a lot of wins where we talked about Minnesota last year, right? Who got
Yeah.
so they're like 0-6 this year in games less than 7. The stat that I want to show is that no team in NFL history in the first 12 games have lost 6 games by less than 6 points in NFL history. Right, it just never happened. That's a stat for you. So it just shows you that the Bills are not. They're due to not make the playoffs because
Yeah.
the football god said, "You hired Ken Dorsey, who was a piece of shit offensive coordinator,
Yeah.
and Gabe Davis will be a number 3 to 4 most people."
Hmm.
So then going back to the point, I hear a lot of Josh Allen hate out there. It's kind of weird to me. I get he threw some interceptions, right? Technically,
Yeah.
to me, he only threw 2 the last 3 games. Gabe's fault for 2 of them,
Yeah.
but and then the one is at the end of the half. Like, are we
Yeah.
really
The
counting those
Hail Mary one. Yeah.
interceptions? Like,
That was
at the
ridiculous.
Jets game, like we were
That was Hail
counting
Mary.
them.
Yeah. It was like, who cares?
Are we really counting them? So my whole thing is that you know, and I like what Darius Slay said. He's like, if the guy has to throw the ball 50 times to win a game, and he has to do everything, and you see now he's using legs, and you're going to turn over the ball, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's like an NBA. If you're the one that's shooting the ball all the time, you get the score. Your shooting percentage is not going to be 50%. It's going to be 48, 45% because you're shooting so many shots because you're the only person who can hoop on the damn team,
Right.
right? So that's what happens. But at the end of the day, like I tell everybody else, would you have Josh Allen? He's still a top 3 quarterback in NFL.
Oh
Top,
yeah.
let's say top 5. You want to say everybody else, but he's still a top quarterback. And if we didn't have him, what would the record be? But the main point of what I want to say, and I don't want to waste more time, is that the Bills, once again, they are what they're just the typical team. They put this I call like almost like a CYO team together with all these old goddamn P players on there. Jordan Poyer looking older than hell. Magpie
Hmm.
said, "Let's do it one more time, guys. Run," but they haven't won anything. That's what happens, right? So,
Yep.
and why did she? And everyone's like, "Well, the Chiefs are old and everything." Well, the Chiefs draft well. If you actually look at the defense
Chiefs
of
are
the
pretty
Chiefs,
young. Yeah.
all of them are rookies on their. I'm not rookie deals. Rookie deals. That's what I'm gonna say.
Hmm.
Majority of them are rookie deals, except for the Chris Jones and a few other guys they got. But literally, their whole defense is rookie deals. If you look at it, I
Hmm.
mean, there's only like 3 players in a starting lineup that have like contracts. Everyone, I mean, like actually free agent contract.
Right.
That's what happens when you draft well, right? So. Um, but that's all I have to say about Buffalo. We'll see. If they don't, like I said, if they don't beat Kansas, I was telling you and
Yeah.
a couple of friends of mine, if they don't beat Kansas City, I think they should just try to lose every game and fire McDermott. But that's just me. Like just shut the
Yeah.
season down and
Yeah.
whatever it is. But
Yep, I know. Knowing them, they're gonna win this game. I
yeah,
feel
yeah, I know they're gonna
and
win this game and they're
and
gonna win
then get
it
everybody's hopes up, and then they'll figure out, they'll
and
blow
get
a game.
blasted by Dallas at home. But yeah, yep,
Yeah. Well, I would be too mad about it. No, I don't know. That's gonna be an interesting game. But yeah, so yeah, I can't even debate anything you said, man. It's been tough watching the Bills, man. I've been hurt. That Eagles game hurt me in two ways. Of course, I wanted the Bills to win, and then I wanted the Bills to win like two reasons. I was like, oh, I can't believe they didn't win this game. It's just tough. So anyway, all right. So last thing, and really is, what do we think, we want to see in the future? So we got 5 more weeks in the series. I mean, in the season. Is there anything that you want to
no,
see, or you know,
I mean it's
or any predictions and things
the
that you
AFC.
think are gonna happen?
I mean, the only prediction is the I honestly the 7 and 6 seed for both divisions. I mean, who who gonna call it? You got the
Yeah, no.
Packers in the playoffs. You got the Colts in the playoffs. It's just
Yeah.
so. I the one prediction I will call. I feel the Steelers are not going to make the playoffs. That's one of my teams,
Mm.
and
Hmm.
we'll see. I mean, the NFC is so I don't even know. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers might make the playoff. Who knows what's going on over there? So. But I think this the Colts and the Steelers won't make it, and either Denver or Buffalo will make that last spot. That's just what I see from the AFC and the NFC. I don't know. I just have a feeling if the Packers got a few easy games, they can make it. Got a
Yeah,
few easy games.
yeah, the
Uh,
Packers have been shocking.
yeah, yeah, and the Saints lost 3 in a row, man. I mean, this
Yeah,
is
no.
they gotta do yeah. So that's my thing. What
Yeah,
about
no.
you?
I'm with you. I think that's the big. I mean, of course, I'm keeping an eye on this. Both top seed things are so important. Like, my thing in AFC is, will Kansas City actually have to play a road game finally in the playoffs? Like, that's my thing. Um, I think they might, but no, Kansas City, they might end up going 13-4. Maybe they win the next 5 games, and then all the teams figure out a way to beat each other, and they still end up having the home game. Or they end up being the number 2 seed, and the number 1 seed gets upset, and then they get the
Yeah,
AFC Championship game home. Like, they're gonna figure out some way to avoid seeing what
yeah,
I want to see, because I want to see
right.
them play on the road. Um, but yeah, I think um, I really don't know what's going to happen in the AFC either. I'm kind of with you. I mean, these schedules. I think after this week we'll know more. In my
Right.
opinion, it sounds stupid, but I really actually do. I think a lot of the 7-5 teams are going to lose. So like the Browns, I'm not sure if they're going to beat the Jags or not. And then the Colts are playing the Bengals. So if the Colts lose, they're going to be 7-6. The Bengals are going to be 7-6. Denver's playing the Chargers. They could be 7-6. Bills win. They could be 7-6. Chargers win. They're 6-7. So like, it's. I think they're gonna, even though they're already close, I think it's gonna even be closer. It's gonna be like a 7-way tie, and then you're gonna have the last 4 games to play it out. NFC, I'm with you. I think the Vikings get it together. I like the Vikings. I think I said it before the season. That's why I put them in there. I think the Vikings are better this year than they were last year. I mean, it's sad that Kirk Cousins got hurt, but I actually think the Vikings are a better team. They're tough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to play them. I
Yeah.
If the Vikings are the 7 seed, I would be pissed off if I was a 2 seed. I would not want to play them. And if I'm the Lions and I'm the Vikings, I like that matchup. I think the Vikings would beat the Lions actually in the playoffs. As long as they're,
Oh,
where's quarterback. I
um,
think they would. I think they're a better team.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's
You
gonna,
know,
like I said,
they're tough.
we put it on tape, brother.
I know it's
So,
on tape. I still think, I mean, even, it's really just Josh Dobbs if he decides to not be crazy and like throw the ball when he was falling down and just like throw it up in the air, like, who wants it? I mean, as long as he doesn't do doesn't do that, I think he's all right. And oh, by the way, I said this before the season. I said the Rams. So watch out for the Rams, even though we put them in there, because of Matt Stafford. I said they got three players that are better than most, and
Yeah.
because of that, they're gonna be competitive. As long as Matt Stafford's healthy, and basically since he's when he's healthy, they're like 6-4.
Right. But
You
also,
know,
I mean, this is oof.
you're six
I
and
think
six, but
it might two teams might actually have below 500 record make the playoffs this year.
yeah, I
Like
think
I'm
so.
talking about even on AFC, like 8 and 9, who
Yeah,
knows?
I think so. I
Like on the
I
seventh seed.
I think so. Like but it's weird enough. I think I think the playoff teams that make it in the NFC will end up being like 9-7. I just have
Yeah,
a feeling. But
yeah,
like, but the division winner in the South,
yeah.
they ain't gonna win. They're gonna be 8-9.
Oh yeah, no, that's true.
You know?
But also, to your point, that's one point. I would hate if the Bills like go to 7. I would be pissed up number two team or the Viking number. That's what I'm saying. That's what you're talking about. Like,
Ooh, yeah, no,
yeah, or even the Broncos. Like it's just
right,
like you get a number 7 seed, you're like, oh gosh,
right.
because so
And the
interesting.
Packers, the
Yeah,
pack, like, yo, Jordan. I mean, Jordan Love, man.
yeah, 22 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He's actually
He,
tied for fifth most touchdown to the NFL. Hey
remember
Bob, where you
Yeah,
at? I just
I
told you
know.
about your
Remember I
boy.
said it when before I was like, remember and in the preview, I was
We
like, yeah, I
all said
like this
that.
guy. I was like, I like this kid. I told him I was like, I like him. I was
I
like, I
actually like.
really like him. I like what I see about him. It's even though he's gotta get better, he's got to get better, of course. But it's his demeanor and it's the way he approaches the game. The guy is a he's gonna compete even when he
Right,
struggles, he like in the beginning of the year when they were like 3-0, he wasn't playing
right,
great those games. He was like struggling. And at the end of the game, he was coming finding ways to like make plays.
right,
I think they got something there.
right,
They I wouldn't want to play them either because their defense is starting to play good. Their line, Rashad
right,
Garrett, Gray, like they're
right,
tough. Anyways, so yep, so we'll see. Thanks, we're looking forward to the last 5 weeks, and we'll see how these playoff teams come. I would say that I definitely I'm going to replace my Titans pick with one of the AFC South teams. That's not the Titans because clearly
right,
they're not in there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what's going to happen at the end of the year.
right.
All right. Well, thanks, man. That's gonna wrap up our
Yeah,
NFL recap for this week. And so hope you guys enjoyed, our recap. We're gonna try to get back on regular schedule, but we're also gonna do an NBA season preview and update because we never did one before. Let you guys kind of know what's going on with the season. I'm gonna tell you stuff that told Thomas and maybe other people before, even though it's gonna sound like I was hedging, but I wasn't on some of my predictions. And also, share some stuff that's been going. NBA has been great. It's been like the best couple of months that we've had because it's in season tournament. So we'll talk about that in another episode. All
all right,
right. Well,
all right, guys.
thanks everybody. And we will talk to you guys soon.
All
Peace
right,
out.
take care.